Welcome back to the Infinite Life podcast. You're in the Spirit Releasement season. And this week we have a new friend for you on the podcast, and her name is Kelly. Kelly was in the Women Lighting the Way Summit Facebook group when I held a free mediumship session and brought through messages from the afterlife from people who had crossed over. Now, Kelly was in the comments. I was on Zoom and she was in Facebook, so I was streaming into Facebook, and she kept asking if Harold was there. Was I getting a message from Harold? And I definitely wasn't getting a message from Harold. And she seemed quite distressed about this. Also, she was after a little baby named Spirit. And I kept telling her, no, there was no Harold and there was no Spirit. And here's one of the things that I want to bring to your awareness. Sometimes if you're speaking to a medium and you're wanting to bring through a loved one, yes, they may find it difficult to come through because there's a lot of other people that have more urgent messages than yours. 2, they may be busy doing other stuff. And 3, it is possible that they haven't crossed over. That's why the medium is not getting them. A medium may have set a personal boundary that they do not wish to deal with earthbound spirits. And 4thly, they may be holding back and hiding because they don't want to give you the message, because they don't want you to find out that they're attached to you. The difference between a message from a spirit, so somebody who you loved who has crossed over and gone to the light, is they are healed. They've received healing and the higher perspective about their life. If you are dealing with a message from spirit, they will not be emotional. You will be, not them. They will not be angry. They will not be the same person that you encountered in lifetime. They will have a higher perspective. They will still present with the same personality, as you may have discovered when we talked to, say, for example, Dennis in the previous season, season 5 of the podcast. But they will have a higher perspective on your relationship and what happened. If you were getting a spirit coming through to a medium who is angry or really still holds resentment to you from what happened in the lifetime, then they haven't crossed. So just a little warning about that. There's a lot of mediums who don't understand that. I'm not disrespecting anybody there, but I've had mediums who have really got the clarity when they've attended these sessions to understand the difference between bringing through a spirit that has crossed and is healed and one that has not actually healed. So spoiler alert, this episode with Kelly, we connect to find out if she has any attachments in the forms of emotions, thoughts, and earthbound spirits. And we also have a wonderful session where she gets to, because we go to the life between life, we get to actually bring in some of the people that she wishes to speak to. So when we started the session, I had a chat with her about how many people had died in her life recently, because that impacts the potential for spirit attachments. And she'd had her brother, her father, and her husband, as well as she had carried a baby to 7 months gestation, and the baby did not survive. So there are a lot of potentials, and I'm really proud and pleased to say that we were able to speak with all of the people who had recently died in her lifetime, as well as clearing a attachment as well. So this is quite the emotional episode for Kelly. In some instances, the sound recording is not the best, so you will have to bear with us. But it is a beautiful, beautiful session, and one of the most powerful in understanding the differences between earthbound spirit and a spirit that has crossed over and healed. And there's also some important messages as to, in some circumstances, why babies don't make it, what the lessons were that they needed to bring to your life as well as their life, to understand the highest spiritual perspective for things that occur in our lives. So I hope you find this session interesting.